Today we're going to hear about realizing your dream. Joy in the City is a program that highlights people and organizations having an impact in our city. All too often we hear about the problems and dysfunction in our culture, but we are coming with a different approach as we take a look at the good things that are going on right here in our community. I'm Bethany Marshall, and you're about to see what God is doing in our city. Recently, at our annual Joy in the City live benefit dinner, our executive director, Troy Ferguson, sat down with Cathy Manning, photographer and social media extraordinaire, in an interview-style discussion on taking a personal ministry or hobby to the next level. This is an interview from that live event.
All right, our next segment here we have with us Cathy Manning. Now, Cathy is going to be wandering all around the place tonight because she is our photographer for the evening, and that actually is what I want to talk to you about. So, Cathy, talk to me a little bit about the journey that kind of started as a hobby.
Well, to be honest with you, as I tell a lot of people, this is all your fault. The short backstory is about February of last year, you had come to me and said, hey, want to bump up the social media stuff with the church, all of that. So I got on board with that. And started taking pictures just with my iPhone during Sunday service. And the longer it went, and when I would go through the pictures at the end of the, not the end of the day, the afternoon or whatever, I started to see things a little bit differently, that what we were doing with taking pictures, putting them online and all of that was actually turning into like a witness for people that, might not know what goes on in a church, because if people share them, like them, whatever, it's a testimony because we have people that get prayed over. We've got people that get delivered and healed and all of that, so it's a testimony. And it's also, if people are sharing this content and putting it out there, it's a mission field as well. So I started approaching it from like that perspective, and I forget at what point you had said to me, have you thought about getting like a real camera? So, and I have always taken pictures, like too many pictures, but I've never done anything with it. Never thought about it, never whatever. So Jamie Miller, actually, who's sitting out here, I saw her, said, hey, I'm going to sell my old Canon. Do you want it? And I was like, absolutely. And that's kind of what started it. And just taking the pictures on a Sunday morning, and then you actually said to me, hey, you got an eye for this. And I'm like, okay. I don't know. I figure if he knows, then, we'll go with it. So that's where we're at today.
Indeed. Now, just so you know, those of you that have an interest in doing something like this, you can, even with an iPhone or a mobile phone, probably not a flip phone, but a mobile phone, you could actually start taking pictures and video and really get a grasp on a craft. And that was even in pictures of her iPhone. I told her, you have an eye for this. And you can kind of see that, and encouraged her to do that. Now, so it started as a little bit of a hobby, a little bit helping with the church. Since that time, things have changed a little bit for you and your journey. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I've got, I'm always driving my kids crazy with taking pictures, and I'll admit they're awful at it. I'll ask them to smile, and I get like, they're 5, and the other one will be 3. I get like fingers up the nose, and they're looking around and doing all of that. So, I figured, hey, single income. Let's see if we can, maybe just see if I can bring some extra money in by taking some pictures of, other people's kids. And I took pictures of my aunt's dogs the other day, and, it's a thing. So I love it. And it wasn't ever anything on my radar. And it fell in my lap, and I love it.
So you have started a small photography business called Faith Photography.
Yes.
Tell us why that name, what it's about.
I actually, and I know she's here too, I'm actually going to give Heather Carruthers credit for that, because when I started feeling this whole thing out, just because the culture here in our church is very encouraging, and I had so many people on a Sunday morning like, hey, really appreciate what you do. We think you do a good job. Love seeing pictures. We get messages. Hey, I wasn't there today. Thank you for putting these up. So that kind of thing. So I started like feeling this out, and I'm like, okay, I got my start in a church situation, sanctuary situation, that kind of thing. So I was asking people, where do I go? Like, what do I call this? Whatever. And Heather and I were on a conversation the one day on a text message, and she actually said, well, your faith shoots. And I was like, that's it. And it just that was it. Nothing felt right until she sent that text that said, your faith shoots. And I'm like, that's it.
So Cathy has started a business called Faith Photography. And in the program that you have tonight, there's an ad for her. And I would encourage every single one of you to call her this week about setting up a Christmas session. But this is something that she does for the church, and we are so blessed. As a matter of fact, Sunday afternoon, around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we start getting texts. They're going to be in the pictures today. And anybody who does anything with social media, every time somebody likes a picture, you get notified as an administrator. And we have now called Sunday Notification Sunday because we get 40 and 50, 60 notifications because some of you that you don't just like the group of pictures, some of you go and like every single picture. Mm-hmm. And every one of them notifies us, which we appreciate and we love that.
And that's just it. It's not like, a dozen pictures. I tend to overshoot everything, and I'll put up an album that's 50, 55, 60 pictures.
Every good photographer overshoots.
Yes,
that's a good thing.
I way overshoot, but that's all right.
So she's a blessing to us as the church, and she's also someone who just kind of started on this journey, and I've called this segment Realizing Your Dream, because sometimes if you just start with a hobby, you may never realize this is something that you love doing, and you could actually make a business out of it. Some people, you don't always need to invest in thousands of dollars and get lots of capital to open up a business. It can just be something that supplements your income at home and in time grow to the point that it could be a full-time job. And Cathy does a great job. And I want to pull her in because she has grown so quickly from the point of asking her, will you take a few pictures for social media for the church, to in less than a year, she's taking sessions and Christmas and all kind of stuff for people. It's a great thing. So some of you, I'm sure, as you're thinking tonight, well, I have a hobby that I kind of enjoy, and I have this, I have that. Just think of some things that you could do and realize that dream actually could be something that's beneficial, not just to you and your family, but something could bless others and maybe even make a little bit of money on it. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Cathy.
Can I say one thing real quick, and
Sure.
I'll make it short? I could not do any of this without the support of my husband, because when I'm in here on Sunday mornings running around doing it, he's got both of our kids. Our 3-year-old is a little bit of a pill, so there's a lot of times he's still hanging out with nursery and her, or if I'm, in the afternoons now, hey, I've got a photo shoot here, I've got a this, I've got a that. So he's got my back in this, and I couldn't even do the church stuff without him. So I love you, babe. Thank you.
Indeed.
That's all the time we have today. Thanks for watching Join the City True Stories. Let me encourage you to watch other episodes of people and organizations having an impact on our community through our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Be encouraged because God is moving in our city.
God is